the show. Vero G, is that you?
Yes, hi guys, how you doing?
Good. Welcome to the program. Am I saying it correctly? Is it Vero or Vero?
No, you said it first the right time. That's perfect.
All right, Vero G. And Texas Mike is here with me as well at the news desk.
Hello, Vero.
Oh, hi.
He's from Texas. That's why we call him that. Although it's very strange. I've yet to see him wearing a cowboy hat or a belt buckle. So I'm becoming a little bit suspicious. But I but I opened with that track, New Enemies, which is not one of the ones that you sent me, but I was, as I was kind of looking around online, I was looking for music in addition to what you sent me, just something that I think my audience would probably gravitate toward. And I really like that track. And you've got a lot of music. You've been at this a long time. I mean, do you know how many songs you've recorded?
Just a handful, pretty much, you could say. Yeah. A handful.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you've got a lot, and I saw you did the track with Cuban Links, which I really like that. I might play that later, too.
Thank you.
But
I appreciate that.
How do you know, now you came to us through G Girl, correct?
Yes. I want to give first and foremost to give her a big shout out, G Girl, big shout out to you. And through her, I actually got her connection through you as well, so big shout out to her, yeah.
Now, how do the two of you know each other? Have you worked together, or do you just know each other from the music industry?
Well, actually, I met her through mutual friends, like around a year ago or so, and that point on, we've been working together since then. And she actually was, recently we did a last showcase here in New York City, September 12th, and she, hosted the event, and then she'll be hosting our next event coming up October 31st at the same location in New York City for the Halloween.
Oh, right. I think I remember her talking about that. Yeah. So tell us. Oh, I hear. Were those sirens on your end? I'm used to hearing them up here.
Yeah, this is New York City for you, pretty much.
we hear sirens all the time while I'm on the air because, well, if it's a nice day out, because I've got the windows open and we're right on Elm Street in Manchester. But so you've got a lot going on. I was reading your bio and some other information about you online. So you're an artist, but you also seem to be doing a lot in the music industry. And you're on. Is it DTF Radio? Do I have that correctly?
Yes, it's DTF Radio. Yeah, that's a show we have actually every Wednesdays from 5 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern Time in New York City, and we've been doing it going on not gonna work for next year, 2 years on the radio station. So it's been really cool. It's been really cool.
Now, is that where you are right now? Is in New York?
Well, right now I'm not in the station, but I'm in New York City. Yes.
Okay, gotcha, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that must be cool too. It's funny. I like hip hop, and this was maybe 6 months ago, but I had to take a run to New York City for something, and it was really cool to hear Hot 97 because that, as you know from being there, that's kind of like the biggest hip hop station in the entire country. And what was interesting about that to me was I was hearing things that I have not heard on the radio here. And I remember thinking things that I'm hearing now as I was in the New York area on Hot 97, I will probably hear in the future in the radio market here. And sure enough, that's exactly what happens because, obviously a station like Hot 97 has, a lot of that music that is about to be, distributed nationally to radio stations. But that was pretty cool. So you're in kind of, I guess New York, you're really kind of in the heart of the hip hop scene there.
You could say pretty much, yeah, in some ways, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
What is your number one thing in terms of, like I said, you do several different things. Is being an artist and recording and performing, is that the biggest priority, or because, like I said, you've got a mix of things going on?
Definitely. I think more than ever, music's my first passion before anything else. And, doing this for over 8 years now as an independent artist, it's a struggle, but I feel like at the same time, you get to earn a lot of great milestones along the way. Mm-hmm. And I feel just doing this is just a passion of mine. And I just love, seeing people with their feedback on my music and being inspired by the same time with that as well.
I have a question, kind of from I'm a marketing guy, and I've done a lot of promoting of music and working with college radio stations. That's my specialty. But I'm curious about this, and this wouldn't apply to the track that we played with that New Enemies song, but to a lot of your music, it's in both English and Spanish within the same song, and I'm just wondering, is that helpful in terms of marketing the music to have some Spanish in there to kind of appeal to other audiences, or does it limit you in some way? Or there's some people who in the industry I'm talking about who might hear it, or people at radio who might hear something and say, well, I don't understand why you're going back and forth between English and Spanish. I mean, is there any kind of marketing concerns with that?
It has its ups and downs overall, but I believe it's actually great because as being I say a Latina, as I say, especially in the Spanish community, it's very huge up here in the Spanish market, and I feel like to blend both English and Spanish is actually it's a uphill. It's not uphill, but it's it's a positive light because of the fact that you get more with that, and maybe there's people out there that tuning in right now can definitely agree to what I'm mentioning right now on the phone. The Spanish culture it's more than ever just more enriched, and I just overall just want to embrace that as who I am. At the same time, I just want to let people know that it's okay to blend in your music. It's not just be like in the box, as they say, but just kind of think outside of the box in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you do a lot of live shows, or is most of what you're doing studio work?
Yeah, so we actually, because I know with COVID restrictions and everything else, we've been able to do live shows at the radio station. Thank God. We have been doing live showcases. The last one we did was September 12th. So, God willing, the next will be this month, October 31st, which is on Halloween. We're working on, I know because I know restrictions and you have to wear a mask and that. So, but we're working around that. So, but thank God we've been okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be. I mean, how are things looking there where you are? I mean, I've been kind of focused as far as COVID itself. I obviously, like most of us, I kind of focus on where I live, and we've done pretty well here. But I mean, where you are, is it still obviously it's not as big a worry as people are getting vaccinated and whatnot. But I mean, do you feel good about the doing the live stuff? Do you feel pretty comfortable at this point?
As at the moment, honestly, it's been okay. I mean, because I just got my first shot, so I'm not telling people don't get the shot or do get a shot. It's up to them, but I feel like if you do get the opportunity to get the shot, it's going to benefit you more because you have more opportunities to go out and enjoy, do what you have to do and live a normal life what we can. So I think with that in mind, doing these showcases and doing the radio is giving me more opportunity to continue what I'm doing with my business and stuff like that.
And now, what else do you do? So, in addition to DTF radio and obviously the music, are you also an actor? Did I read that correctly?
Yes, definitely. So I'll give you guys a little more insight. So besides being an artist and also entrepreneur, I also give back to the community. I just did my second annual back to school event we did here in Manhattan. So we're planning hopefully next year, third annual back to school event we're doing, God willing, for next year, and things turn out okay. Besides that, I am an actress. I am a poet, author as well. I also have my own magazine company as well. It's called Vero G Spotlight Magazine. I just try to tap in as much as I can to expand myself, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that. I mean, I'm a little more focused in on specific things now than I was, say, 10 years ago. But I can relate to that, though. Being involved in a lot of different things, and and they're all things obviously that are connected. But the magazine now, is that strictly online, or do you actually? Because I remember seeing that too. It's called Spotlight.
Yes, sir. So it's called Vero G Spotlight Magazine.
Oh, okay.
And that's optional. Yeah, and it's optional. It's both. It's digital and print. So, for example, if someone wants to get a copy, they could go online. It's available at www.mattcloud.com, and you guys could just type up. You'll see all the issues there. and you can order a copy, and it'll come directly to your house. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. When did you? I mean, it takes some guts in the era that we're in, because as you do know, of course, publishing publishing magazines and newspapers and anything like that, any kind of print publishing has become very, very challenging and cost prohibitive for a lot of folks who have strictly gone online. But it sounds like you're making it work, which is great. Do you have a large subscription base as far as print, or do people just kind of go online and order specific issues, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I was looking into that as we speak for the subscription base. So it'll be like people get like, let's say they get a whole year, and they get, the copies and that sort. But for now, it's just on demand. Like, all the issues are available there, so they could just like click on depending which ones they want to have, and then depending how many they want to copy or order, and then from that point on, it'll go directly to wherever destination they want to send it out to. Yeah.
Very good, very good. How did the collaboration with Cuban Link come about?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. So actually, I met him around 2 years or if I'm not mistaken. And actually, I also have a TV show, so at the moment, because even though it got kind of shut down because of COVID, but prior to that, I met him at the Manhattan Studios TV station, and he actually was a guest for another producer. And I walked by and said, "Hey, how you doing, Cuban? Hey, how you doing?" Like, we just knew each other. So straight off the bat, we had a great chemistry. We started talking, and then through our management, I had a chance to have him on my show, on the radio show, for like twice or so. And then from that point on, I said, "Hey, what if one day we just make a collaboration together?" He was like, "Yeah, we should do it." And we did the paperwork, and we did everything else. And pretty much the rest is history. I mean, the song is beautiful. It's called "Come With Me." It's a bilingual song. It's about, of course, a man telling the girlfriend, or the girl that he's in love with, leave your man to get with me. And so it's a great collaboration. I'm honored to have worked with him on this project.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'm probably going to play that one when we finish up, because I really like that. And I'm curious too, when you said that to him, because it's funny, and I'm sure you know this, and a lot of people can relate to this, but it's so funny when I reflect on my own life and just chances I've taken where I've said something almost in an offhand manner to somebody. Hey, how about if we do this? Not necessarily expecting them to be receptive or to ever hear from them about it, or, a lot of times,
exactly.
You know how it is. A lot of times people will say, "Oh yeah, great idea, let's do that." And then you never hear from them or whatever. When you threw that out to him, did you think it was actually going to come true, or were you just kind of throwing it out there thinking, well, I'll take a shot and who knows what'll happen? Because that's a big deal to be able to do a track with him.
Oh, definitely. It was, first of all, an honor just to even talk to him. And then for that matter, we built a friendship from that point on. And, when I first threw it in his direction, he was like, yeah, but you know how people, like you mentioned, like, okay, so right. I had to be really persistent with him on this. And, I said, listen, I'm driven, so I'm going to, be on top of it and talk to his management and all that sort. So big shout out to Gloria, that's his management, by the way. And, yeah, so I was on top of it. I got my manager involved. We talked about the numbers and that sort. Mm-hmm. And then I was just, we made it happen. And after the song was, we recorded, I think, last year, actually. And that's off the single from the last album we did, which is called Forgive Me Victory. We just did the Victory Tour as well this year as well for that. And we actually had a chance to perform, I think, twice or three times on that song live.
Oh, wow.
And it was just, it was just a phenomenal experience to work with him, and he's a great person, and he's a hard worker, and I just to work with him along, just to actually perform the song in front of people was like, okay, this is my moment, this is my high moment, that's it. If I could die tomorrow, I say I did this and I done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, obviously, for him to work with you, he was impressed with your talent, but also for you to make that happen. And again, I'm a music industry guy. That's where I came from. And, I've met and worked with so many people who just have no clue. People who are very talented, but they expect things to just happen, or they don't know how to conduct themselves or whatnot. You obviously Do you have advice for people like that? People in the industry who maybe they're just starting out, maybe they're in a band and they're playing bars or whatnot. Do you have any advice for people on how to conduct themselves in a way that they can make things happen, like you make happen with someone like Cuban Link, and the professionalism that you had to bring to that situation in order to make that happen? I mean, I'm sure people ask you all the time. Do you have any advice for artists?
Sure, definitely. I always say there's 3 key roles I would tell any independent artist out there, or even when they're just starting out. And I always say one is be consistent. Second is always being humble, because people could see when you have an ego trip or you're egotistical and they don't want to work with you. So you have to stay humble. And I always say first and foremost, before anything else besides that, I think is you have to have that drive. You have to have that ambition to really go out of your way and really make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's great advice. I always tell people too, don't try to copy whatever's hip or trendy at the moment, because by the time you catch up to whatever's hip or trendy, the industry will have moved on, the public will have moved on, and so I think it's important to, and I say this because I think your sound is unique. And
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's important. It helps you stand out in a sea of music, because there's so much. You go on YouTube and there's a million artists you may not have ever heard of, putting music out there. I mean, what about that part of it? How do you get noticed? Do you have any advice?
That's really good. Definitely, of course. Like you said, you have to be. Like you said, there's going to be 1,000 people that do similar sounds, and that's great. But like you mentioned, you just hit it right in the head, where basically you have to sound different. You have to sound yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to, you're as a product or a brand, you have to produce or represent yourself a certain way and carry yourself. And if people are going to perceive you or see you a certain way of light, you have to go out there and put music that you first and foremost believe in, before anyone else believes on your craft or what you're doing, and have a strong message behind it. I mean, everybody could talk about sex and drugs. That's great, but end of the day, don't you want to put music that's going to inspire people, uplift them, or motivate them? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree absolutely. Thank you. Vero G, this has been wonderful. I want to make sure that, and I'm going to play that "Come With Me" track with Cuban Link in a moment. But before we conclude, I want to make sure that everyone knows who's listening where to find you, where they should go online. You're very fortunately you have a unique name, Vero G. It's very very Googleable, as I like to say, so it's easy to find your stuff. But
thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, that's important. Trust me, I know. My last name is very unusual. There is another Matt Connarton, but he's my uncle, so that doesn't count. But it's important to be.
Oh, okay, that's different.
but it's important to be easily Googleable, as I like to say. But what do you want to make sure our listeners know in terms of how to find you and to keep up with what you're doing, and if you want to remind us too about events you've got coming up?
Definitely. So, as you guys know, my social media is my Instagram is at Official Vero G. My website is www.verogmusic.com. My Twitter is VERO2884. You guys go find my artist page, which is Vero G. Also, pretty much, like I said before, just check out all my content. Also, my YouTube channel, Vero G Spotlight TV Network, where you can watch everything, my music videos, all that sorts. And I also want to add here that I have a latest album, which is called Here I Am, which is available at all digital platforms right now. So you guys could definitely check that out. And the latest single to that is called Let 'Em Heal You. And that album, I felt like it was the growth of my artistry, as they say. And that song is very inspiring, and it's very uplifting. So, I'm so honored for those who got a chance to, look it up. And as we speak, I actually got over 1,000 streams alone on Spotify. So thank you guys for believing in my music and keep playing and listening and tuning in. So, yeah, I'm honored. And I just want to thank you, Matt, and thank you, GG Girl, and thank you everyone who believes in what my mission is about.
Absolutely. All right, wonderful. All right, Vero G, thank you very much for your time, my friend. We'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Thank you.
All right, you got it. Take care. All right, that was Vero G, and I'm gonna let's give this a listen, and then we'll come back and we'll get into some other stuff. But this is "Come With Me," and this is her collaboration with Cuban Link. This is a big deal.
Veronica, Cuban Link.
Vero G, vente conmigo.
Veronica,
Come with me.
Mami, vente conmigo. Sé que tú no estás contenta con él. Se te ve en tus ojos perdido. Él ya no te sabe querer.
Vente conmigo. Come with me. Vente conmigo. Come with me. Come with me. Can't you see we're meant to be? Give me a love, just one shot to make you mine. Show you to love you and blow your mind. Tú eres mío, yo soy tuya. A love so divine.
Yeah. Show me the love. Yeah. You always think you love me. Show me the love. Mami, vente conmigo. Sé que tú no estás contenta con él. Se te ve en tus ojos perdido. Él ya no te sabe querer. Chiquitica, vente conmigo. Pa' poder acariciarte tu piel. Darte besitos de cabeza hasta el ombligo. Ven conmigo, olvídate de él. So baby, are you gonna come with me? Ven mami, let me set you free. I need to know right now. Are you down to ride or die? Ride da 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 da.
You're the one for me. Boy, papi, I'ma follow your lead. And I'ma hold you down till the day I die. Cause you're my guy, my ride
I bet your man can't do it like that. No cap, still at 24 karat gold Mac. Let's throw back, rapper that'll give you no slack. Hold that, I'ma freak you till your eyes roll back. And have your toes tapping like a ballerina when you up in my arena. Give you that vitamina, make you proud to be Latina. And change your whole demeanor, it'll have you feeling leaner. From the way you talk to the way that you caminas. Word of Selena, I've been dreaming of you, even you do. So we can do what we've been meaning to do. It's us two, no one else needs to be in the crew. Up in the mountaintop together, overseeing the view. Am I being a fool? And believing that you love me and always thinking of me. Girl, why don't you just leave? It must be a reason, don't hush me. You told me to trust you, now trust me. Mami, vente conmigo. Sé que tú no estás contenta con él. Se te ve en tus ojos perdido. Él ya no te sabe querer. Chiquitica, vente conmigo. Pa' poder acariciarte tu piel. Darte besitos de cabeza hasta el ombligo. Ven conmigo, olvídate de él.
There you go. That is "Come With Me," Vero G featuring Cuban Link. And we just had a great discussion with her, Vero G from New York City. That was really cool. Like I said, our friend G-Girl, who's been on the show a bunch of times over the years, kind of facilitated that. So it was really nice talking with her. And I like that. I hear that around Manchester, that Latin rhythm there, Texas Mike.
Yes.
Well, you probably hear that a lot in Texas.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. But I like it. It's very distinct, and you can hear it coming from people's cars and stuff. But yeah, great stuff. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Easy D. I wanted to call in a few minutes ago, but she was on the line. I wanted to ask her if she's ever played in Canada.
Oh, well.
I Facebooked it, but I know you're busy doing your thing there, Matt, so no biggie.
I apologize, EZG. I actually did see it, and I meant to ask her that question, and then it fell right back out.